Welcome back, folks. Thanks again for everybody who's continued to subscribe, watch all these videos. Over 700 subscribers at this point. Several of my videos over 1,000 views, and maybe at some point I'll look back at this and say, boy, that wasn't a whole lot of guys that had clicked on that subscribe button. But right now, very overwhelmed by that. I appreciate that. I've had a number of folks contact me and say they've used my name when they have contacted Prime and used my name as a reference. Again, I'm not here to pressure anyone to do that if you do want to. It doesn't cost you a thing, and I can get a little bit of a bonus out of it. So I appreciate that. If you don't want to do that, no skin off my back. But if you do, thank you so much. Thanks to those that have done so already. Two topics today, and we're going to start with last week I did a exterior tour during the day, just kind of sitting and showing you what was outside at the Prime Decatur tanker terminal, and I happened to be there when there was no one around, and it's not like I'm not allowed to take a video when there's people there. I just really didn't want to bother anybody. So I was at the terminal at about 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for a trailer to be loaded, and there was nobody. You know, the shop was closed. The tank wash closes down overnights on the weekends. So this was a perfect opportunity to show you what is inside, because I know that there are tours of the Millennium Building out there. I think that there's a tour of the Pittston Terminal here on YouTube somewhere. Not sure if there's a Salt Lake City. We have a terminal in Salt Lake City. I have never been to that one. There was a possibility I was going to go last year, and things just, you know, that's trucking, as you'll probably hear at some point along the way. You know, we were headed there, and then we got turned around, and that was when I was in my training part. But at any rate, as far as I know, this is going to be the only tour video outside and inside of the Prime Decatur tanker terminal. So we're going to show you that first, and then the second part, somebody asked me on one of my lease versus company videos, why don't you buy your own truck? So I want to briefly talk about, and I know I touched briefly on owner-operators, but I want to touch briefly on why I haven't done that, at least yet, and how you would go about doing that with Prime. So very quickly, let's go to a quick video of the inside of the Prime Decatur tanker terminal. Let's do a quick video here. This is perfect time since there's nobody in the inside of the shop. This is the Prime Decatur tanker terminal inside, and this is kind of a little lounge area, a little place to sit. There is a television here. They do have satellite, so just about anything you want to watch is on. They have pretty much every channel. So if you've got some downtime, which is what I'm doing right now, waiting for my trailer to come back, I'm watching some TV, some vending machines, little kitchenette area. So if you need to make some food, you know, there's also a grill outside, so if you want to cook, like I said, vending machines. This is over here for scanning bills to get paid. So that's this area, little office area for the office staff, and a little conference room. Quickly, here's the inside of a tank wash. These guys are not working today, but you can see there's right here, that's the thing that goes down inside the tank. It spins around and flushes hot water in, but this is the inside of a tank wash, just real quick to show you that. So, like I said, there's two bays here at the tank wash, and you kind of got a glimpse of it. Let's go over here real quick. Small little laundry area, handful of washing machines and a couple of dryers. You know, not going to go take you into the bathroom, but there's a couple of showers in men's and in the women's. And then here's that shop that I showed you before. There's one trailer in there right now. It is locked since they're not here, but there's enough room to work on one trailer or one truck there and one truck there. So that's the inside. It's really pretty basic. It's not glamorous. It's not the Millennium Building by any stretch, but it's a nice little place. If you do have to spend some downtime and wait for a trailer, there's worse things. And obviously having the shop, here's another view. Just quick looking in at the shop from this side. Nice that they can do some work on your truck while you're here instead of having to go somewhere. So there you go. There's the inside of the Prime Decatur tanker terminal. All right, hope you enjoyed the inside of the Prime Decatur tanker terminal. Again, that's where I run out of probably 99% of the time. This dedicated account that I work on, everything there is preloaded. So when I was waiting for a trailer, there is a preloader. It's a guy who all he does is runs from the terminal to the shipper, runs trailers empties from the tank wash over to the shipper, gets them loaded, brings them back to the terminal, and I get the loaded trailer. So just happened to be a trailer that I was waiting on to be picked up. It was a good opportunity to show you what that was about. We also run out of Bellevue, Ohio. We do not have a terminal there. We use a tank wash that Prime does not own. That's where I showed you, I think, briefly the exterior in the truck tour video of this truck, the International ProStar truck tour video. There's a brief look around, and you might be able to see a little bit around the Bellevue tank wash. So a little bit less there, actually a lot less there than there is in Decatur. On to the other half of the topic today, and that is owner-operators. And the question that was asked to me was, why don't you own your own truck? It was a question asked on one of my company versus lease videos. I did two of those. I did company versus lease, and then I did company versus lease versus owner-operator part 2. And Prime does have opportunities for owner-operators, whether you purchase a truck and bring it to Prime, whether you do one of their lease purchase programs, or whether you purchase a truck through Prime's sales company. Prime has obviously. They have Success Leasing, and Success Leasing handles most of the trucks. Even the company trucks are, like many corporations, they have small other companies that they control. Success Leasing handles the trucks at Prime. So they handle the company trucks. They also handle the leased trucks. So this truck, anything that I need for this truck, I usually deal with Success Leasing. Anything with the warranty, things like that, I deal with Success Leasing. Obviously, Prime acts as a go-between if I go through a shop. But Prime also has Pedigree Truck Sales as another company. It's similar to the tank wash in Decatur is called Decatur Clean. It's a company, but it's owned by the umbrella of Prime. So it's just another company within the Prime family. So at any rate, Success Leasing, Pedigree Truck Sales. You can purchase a truck and run it through Prime. There is a list of requirements that you have to have if you purchase a truck and bring it into the Prime family. They're not just going to let you go out and buy a 1952 Mack old-fashioned truck and let you run it with Prime. There is some certain standards that you have to have. You have to have a Qualcomm electronic logs, which are going to be mandated. There's still a bit of a fight between the FMCSA and OIDA and things like that. And that's another topic that maybe we can do a video on at some point. But there's a number of those technological. They do require, we have the lane deviation system. They require all the technology put on the truck. The assisted cruise control. All that stuff has to be able to be put onto the the truck that you purchase on the outside and bring in, and that would be at your cost. If you purchase a truck through Pedigree Truck Sales, it'll already be on the truck, and they do sell new trucks and they do sell used trucks. So if somebody finishes up a lease and there's not too many miles on a lease truck or a company truck, they will sell that truck through Pedigree Truck Sales. It will obviously already have the technology on it. They'll go in and they'll fix everything up that needs to be fixed. And if you go back to my Freightliner video, there were some issues, some cosmetic issues for the most part, but trucks get turned in, obviously not in brand new condition. They bring those up to speed, and if you want to purchase a used truck, that's an option for you to do. Lease purchase, or as it's called, an ACE lease through Prime, is another way to purchase a truck. And you can do the same thing. You can purchase a new truck or a used truck. And again, that goes through Success Leasing and Pedigree Truck Sales. Now, to get to the bottom line, why did I not buy a truck? Well, there's a number of reasons. Let's start with the money. Number one, I couldn't afford a down payment. Through Prime, to do an ACE lease where you're purchasing a truck, they require $13,000 as a down payment. They will give you credit for each year you complete a lease and knock some money off of that cost. So if you complete a 4-year lease or a 3-year lease, or if you complete some of these shorter term leases, maybe you do a couple of leases and you knock 8 years worth of lease off of that cost. It's usually, I believe, about $1,000 per year. So at $13,000, you do 2 4-year leases, you lease for 8 years, knock $8,000 off of that cost. All of a sudden, you only owe $5,000 as your down payment. Now, you also, at the end of a lease, get a lease completion bonus. And that's a little more complicated to figure out how much you're going to receive. It's anything not spent out of a tire fund. Every mile you turn on the truck, you put a certain percentage of money into a tire fund. And when you need new tires, you obviously use the money in that tire fund. You also get, there's also a mileage charges, all these things that accrue as you're working through your lease, and then you get your lease completion bonus at the end. Or if there's damages, if you cause a damage to the truck, if you start slashing up the seats and ripping things out and don't replace them or don't fix them along the way, you're going to be charged for those damages, and you're not going to get the entirety of your lease completion bonus. At any rate, $13,000 is the initial charge if you're just going to come to Prime, maybe from an outside company as an A-seat driver. You've got experience as a big rig driver, and you want to come to Prime and start a lease purchase program. So $13,000 was beyond my ability. I personally do not have good credit. If I wanted to get a loan for $13,000, I would not have been able to do it. So there's another reason. If I wanted to go from an outside company and try and get financing, I would not qualify for that. So those are reasons, financial reasons, that I didn't want to purchase my own truck. And especially the next one, right off the bat. And this is kind of what I talked about, I think, in my second lease versus company versus owner-operator video. If you're not absolutely convinced that this is the job for you, that's where I suggested maybe you become a company driver for, try it for a year, try it for 6 months, try it for maybe 2 to 5 years, until you say, hey, this is the career for me. Because you're going to turn in a truck at the end of a lease, or if you cut a lease short, and you're going to have the damages that I talked about. If they're not malicious things, you're still going to have wear and tear on an item, and you're going to have to pay to fix those things up. So if you go in and you purchase or do a lease purchase and all of a sudden say, hey, this isn't the career for me, now you've got a truck that you have to sell. And that becomes more of an issue. And you're more responsible for things. I mentioned the tire fund. You don't have a tire fund as an ACE lease operator. You need tires. Tires are $800 a piece. you need a new set of tires. There's 6 tires. We run super singles on these. If you don't have a tire fund, can you afford that? They also, Prime will break up payments on things. I spent $600 on my truck last Friday on a preventative maintenance, the airlines I was mentioning that I put on the Air and Electric 3-in-1 that I did my review video on last week. Needed a couple other maintenance type items. Nothing wrong with the truck, but I spent $588.74, I believe was the total cost. Prime breaks that up and takes it out of your settlement on a weekly basis. They will not do that as a lease purchase or as a true owner-operator. They will not break that cost up. So you need to have some money set aside. And right out of the chute, when you're starting in trucking, you probably don't have that kind of money set aside. So there's a number of reasons that I don't think purchasing a truck right off the bat is the best idea. I think there are some fantastic ideas to become an owner-operator. It's something I think down the line I would very much like to try. You do have to understand that there are a lot more personal costs. I mentioned the fact that in one of these videos, a lot of these trucks, they're brand new. This is a 2016 International. I'm up over 80,000 miles on this in about 6-8 months of having this particular truck. But still, a lot of the things are under warranty still on this particular vehicle. By the time I finish this lease in a little over 3 more years, going to be close to 400,000, 450,000, maybe close to 500,000 miles on this particular truck. At that point, you're not going to have that warranty anymore. And if I decided to purchase this truck at that time, well, then if the transmission goes out, if the engine goes out, then you have to have the funds and you have to be able to fix those things with, like I said, without the ability for Prime to let you pay things off in weekly stages. Now, the advantage is when I talked about fixed costs, variable costs, and how much money I made, I mentioned there was $26,000, if I recall, and I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head without going back and looking at that video, in fixed costs. Well, that includes the truck payment. My truck payment is $844 a week for this truck. And I'm sure there's going to be guys who are going to listen to that and say, holy cow, you're getting ripped off. But again, I go back to I couldn't afford to purchase a truck on my own. You're also going to get guys who say, why are you making the truck payment for Prime as opposed to being a company driver? Well, you can go back to my company versus lease video, and I think you're giving up some pay by doing it that way. So I'm not going to get into that necessarily, but the bottom line is if you don't have that truck payment, whether it's $844 or whether you're buying your own truck and it's $200-300 a week, either way, that's additional money in your pocket with whatever revenue you generate in a given week. So those are the reasons that, okay, you may have additional expenses, but you also have additional ways to generate revenue. So the simple answer, money and lack of experience for why I am not or have not purchased a truck. Down the line, could very well happen. We'll have to wait and see. But for right now, I'm content doing this. And for someone who has been in the industry just over a year to be able to go home pretty much every night, go home every weekend, have a day off every weekend, I'm very content with that. So I'm sure there'll be some folks out there who question the way I have done it. I'm very happy, and that's all that really matters. So thanks so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the tour of the inside of the Prime Decatur Tanker Terminal. Again, I have gone longer than I had hoped. Hope you enjoy the little chat about owner-operators. And again, continue to hope to be able to get some more tanker-specific videos. And the weather's worked out on the weekends. My schedule just has not, where I run some overnight things. And as much as my wife loves to come with me, she just doesn't like to come when it's a 2 a.m. delivering at 6 a.m. So hopefully we'll get some better scheduling and we'll get her out on the truck and be able to do some videos of tanker specific things like surge, like I talked about a couple of weeks ago, and delivering with the pump and all that good stuff. So thanks for continuing to watch. Really appreciate all you guys, and we'll talk to you again next week.